Tennessee State head coach Eddie George. The Tigers came up short in the Southern Heritage Classic against nationally ranked Jackson State. They're going to stay local. They're going to play FBS foe Middle Tennessee on Saturday. That's the team's last met in the 2019 season. So, Coach, thoughts on your team, and then we'll go to some questions here.
Yeah, I think we're in a good place, mentally speaking, considering the last 2 weeks against two ranked opponents. We realized that we got some work to do in a lot of areas, but we're closing the gap. We feel good about things we did defensively last week. Our special teams had some moments. Our offense took a little bit of a step back. We certainly didn't help ourselves with field position, could never flip the field, but for the most part, we gave ourselves a chance deep into the fourth quarter to win that ball game against Jackson State, one of the hottest teams in the country, and we came up short. So, we're licking our wounds. We're learning from that. Now we have an equally tough opponent coming up this week, coming off a big win at Colorado State, the FBS opponent locally here, strong tradition, and in terms of great football, a head coach who's been there for 17 years, and it's going to be a great thing for us to be here at home locally. It's almost like a home game, so we don't have to travel 3 hours on a flight or 3 hours on a bus. We could just go 30 minutes down the road and put the ball in the dirt and play and compete at a very high level.
All right, Coach, we'll go to some questions. Mike, if you want to start, go ahead.
Eddie, you mentioned it being an FBS opponent. You brought in a lot of FBS transfers this year. Talk about some of them, how they've turned out so far. It's still very early, but after two games, Kayvon Pope and some of those guys that you've brought in from the FBS schools.
Yeah, they're still finding their way. It's still very early in the season, game two. Finding their sea legs, is one thing to see things in practice and execute. It's another thing to have live bullets and be in your first game playing. And that's what we're kind of seeing. We're seeing that type of learning curve. Kayvon Pope is really coming on at the outside linebacker position at the will spot, along with Deshaun Watkins playing corner for us. He really had a good game in my estimation last week. They did a good job of coming up, making some key hits. And really right now, when we're looking at it, I can just speak as a whole instead of individuals. We have 22 new players, and we're in that chemistry phase. We're trying to figure out the roles that they fit in, trying to figure out getting that game experience with each other. And that goes across the board, offensive line, receivers, quarterbacks, and although we had a great day offensively, you almost expect teams to make adjustments, and it's going to take time. It's the first year in our office, the first time, Darren is having to call plays with real guys. So with the new guys. So it's all a learning experience, especially early on in the season.
Okay, my only other question will be Daron Johnson. Is he out for the season, and are you going to have to find a new return man and a receiver there?
Yeah, Daron is out. He's been out since the start of camp. Unfortunately, we lost him to an injury. He'll be back next year, fully healthy. And we're just trying out different guys at the returner position, both punt and kickoff return.
Okay, thanks, Eddie. That's all from me, guys.
Eddie,
thank you, brother.
Eddie, what do you know about the history between these two schools?
I know they are old OVC opponents. They've, of course, Middle Tennessee State I think they went FBS about 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a good rival. I think the last time they played, it was a fairly close game, if I can remember. But it's good that we can play teams locally and play quality football teams in this regard.
And how have you seen Draylon progress?
I think he's coming along just fine. He's making progress. There's some areas that we would like to see him improve in. Clearly, we give him time. He's very lethal in the pocket, so we have to figure out what he likes and what he can do well and focus on those strengths. but certainly Draylen has a great deal of experience. He's played in this league last year, the spring season of 20, and of course last year, and he's put up some good numbers, and he has such a big arm talent, in terms of getting the ball out of his hands and knowing where to go with football. Now is this time to really see the chemistry from a protection standpoint, him knowing where to go with the ball, him making his progressions, him really analyzing the field and processing it and in a timely fashion so he can get the ball out faster. And that's kind of, where we are with Draylen. I mean, but he is growing leaps and bounds as a leader, and certainly he's winning over his teammates.
Two more from me. Second to last one. What do you see as the biggest challenge facing Middle? Is it their offensive front or what?
They're well coached. Middle they have a lot of dudes. They're well developed. They've been in the system for a long time, on both offensively and defensively. They're a sound football team that comes downhill and they will thump you. I mean, that's how they play. And that's going to be a challenge for us. I mean, we've been in 2 wars the last 2 weeks, and this is not going to be anything different. So, that's what I've been preaching all week, is not so much of, what Middle Tennessee State's going to bring, is what we bring and how we do our job to give ourselves a chance to win. Protect the football, protect our quarterback, get positive yards when we can get it, and go in there and give our best foot forward and give ourselves a chance to win.
And finally, do you hear throughout the community about this history, kind of like we talked about earlier? Like, is the community excited at TSU just to be able to travel like an hour away?
It's awesome. People are hitting me up now for tickets. Hopefully it's sold out. I think the last time these two teams faced each other, I think it was 27,000 fans at the stadium in Middle Tennessee State. So hopefully we can match that or better. It's a local deal, a lot of tailgating I'm hearing about. And again, it's only 30 minutes from my house, so I'm excited not to go too far before and after the game. So people are definitely talking about it. I think it's going to be a good turnout.
All right. Thank you for your time, Eddie.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time and best of luck, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you.